start in 1 second. Yeah, do you want to ring it? Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Barnstable Unitarian Universalist, where love guides us. I am the Reverend Dr. Kristen Harper, and my pronouns are she and hers. We acknowledge that our church and land rest upon the unceded ancestral territory of the Wampanoag people, who have lived and been sustained in this area for over 12,000 years. I extend a special welcome to our visitors and encourage you to join us after the service for fellowship and coffee. If you'd like to know more about Unitarian Universalism or this congregation, please fill out the guest card that you'll find in the pew rack in front of you and hand it to an usher or to me. Our mission is to be a welcoming congregation of and for all ages, working for justice and compassion in our world, encouraging spiritual growth and thoughtful dialogue. Here, we celebrate the presence and participation of people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or gender nonconforming. Here, Black, brown, and immigrant lives matter. Here, we lift up the consumption crisis which has led to the climate crisis and promote the values of a sustainable planet. In the spirit of welcome, please rise in body or spirit and greet one another. Good morning. I call your attention to the announcements in the order of service. I have a couple. One, I will be on study leave and vacation from the 18th of July to the 18th of August. However, please do not hesitate to call me if you are in crisis or need me. And how do you tell if you're in crisis and need me? If you say, I'm going to bother her, I don't want to do that, and you're thinking that, then you probably should call me. So don't worry. I say this every time. You can't bother me. I won't pick up the phone if you're bothering me. If I'm sleeping, I won't pick up the phone. If I'm doing something, I'll call you back. But I'd rather have your call than not. So my phone number is in the order of service, but it's also on any email I've ever sent you. So it's part of my signature, so you can get it there, or you can call Chandra and get it from her. The other thing I have is we have ginger scones left. So rush out of here. I won't mind if you don't shake my hand, because by the time I get there, the scones are gone, so I know how fast they go, so please, get your scones. I will be in there. You can say hello then. Stan, will you light our chalice this morning? Oh, I said Stan. Sorry, Dan. Stan, Dan. Thank you. Jacob Trapp wrote, "Worship is the mystery within us, reaching out to the mystery beyond. It is an inarticulate silence, yearning to speak. It is the window of the moment open to the light of the eternal. It is our hearts, broken and bruised, embracing the life within others." I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in the affirmation in unison printed in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the vine. Thus do we covenant together. Please remain standing and join me in our opening hymn number 360, Here We Have Gathered. You'll find it in your gray hymnal. be seated. So those of you who are close to the front and can see that our chalice is not remaining lit, it's because it's lit in all of us. It doesn't have to be lit here. As we gather our hearts together to lift up those joys and sorrows in our lives, I invite you for a moment to just close your eyes. Take a deep breath and reach out with your heart. Feel the edges of your concern. Surround those around you with love. Now push past those few people, beyond those you know, and embrace all beings in your warmth and compassion. I invite anyone who feels called to participate in our ritual of pebbles to come forward down the center aisle, pick up a pebble, bless it with whatever is weighing on your heart, and place it into our community waters of hope and compassion. Please join me in a moment of prayer and reflection. Deep, abiding compassion, I take refuge in your equanimity. Help me to release fear and anxiety, to let go of any sense of separateness or isolation. Draw me closer to the oneness you promise, blurring the boundaries between me and my siblings, me and all sentient beings. Let my heart swell, overflow with compassion, and seek to alleviate the suffering of those around me. Let me rejoice in the joy of others and seek only to magnify and honor that joy. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be whole. May it be so. Our responsive reading this morning is number 668, Faith Cannot Save. It's in the back of your gray hymnal. And it's not that one either. This lasts 2 weeks. What's going on? I will find it. 668? It's not 668.
It is.
It is. Oh, I just got on the wrong page. Thank goodness. Okay. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith but do not have works? Can faith save you? Go in peace, keep warm and eat your fill. So faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. Show me your faith apart from your works, and I, by works, will show you my faith. A Unitarian Universalist layperson named Jessica Lynn wrote, I come on Sunday feeling weary, having worn out the snooze button on my alarm clock. I come on Sunday feeling frightened, having seared my eyes reading the latest news. I come on Sunday feeling burdened, having fretted about my workday worries. But I leave Sunday service feeling refreshed, having been renewed by the spirit of love in the community that exists here. I leave Sunday service feeling whole, feeling lifted up by the words of righteous challenge. I leave Sunday service feeling energized, ready to continue our fight for peace and justice. This haven, this refuge, this place of worship and wonder exists because we make it so with our contributions, the gifts of our time, our skills, our food, our love, our laughter, and our money. Please join me in giving so that we may continue to have this place that fortifies and challenges us in these trying and troubling times. The morning offering will now be received. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in the dedication and offering doxology printed in your order of service. It's both intimidating and rewarding to sing that doxology when Robert is almost next to you singing in his gorgeous voice. The first reading this morning is called Protest in the Laundry Room by Kathleen Wade. I am folding my husband's shirts, smoothing the seams. I am falling apart at the seams. I am shaking the wrinkles from towels. I am shaking inside. Can you tell? Does it show? I wish I were 40 years younger and able to march. I am longing to take a stand. I stand instead in the laundry room, measuring liquid detergent, pouring it into a tray while 1,000 young people holding their flashlight phones in the air in DC's Lafayette Square sing, "Lean on Me." I am leaning over the sorting table, letting my tears fall on my husband's shirts. I sway and lean with the young in the only way I can, the way I've done everything virtually since the middle of March, since the deadly virus threatened us, cautious of getting too close. I don't want to distance myself. I want to shout, to break things, to fall on my knees for the man who is only the latest, but not the last to die at the aggressor's knee. For all the named and unnamed others. Instead, I am folding in layers of sorrow and sorting rage. I am leaning into the chanting marchers. I am folding and sorting, singing my troubled heart, soothing my weary soul. The second reading is The Bath by Angela Herrera. This is what 100 years looks like. A rounded, wrinkled back, sparkling wet and soapy above the shower bench, and my hand, having gently formed in your 70th year and emerged with lifelines bent towards blessing, scrubbing circles across your soft, white skin. I drag a cloth between your arms, silently blessing each bend and crease whose curves were determined in the womb of my great-grandmother. When you are dry and warm, 100 mantras of gratitude sweep over my heart that I am the one standing in the frosted light, rubbing wisps of fragrant talcum into each sweet fold. Tomorrow I return to Boston, and you'll keep your own in your chair by the picture window, looking down at Seattle. You are too old to tell your stories now and have all but ceased speaking. You thank your honeys like Jem at a silent retreat. But the stories have become me, the lifelines that led to my lifelines, and your name was mine long before I dreamed and was born. For now, there is no reason to talk. I adorn you with perfume and color, powder, lipstick, rouge. We get out the pearls. Looking down at your toenails with a fresh coat of glittery red, you erupt in laughter. Will you have to take it off? All day I kiss you as often as I can without making you suspicious that I'm saying goodbye, knowing that when you're gone, I will rise a generation. And as storylines are lifelines, I too shall pass them on. What is the specific age you should stop working for justice? I mean, how old is too old to protest? When I was young, I had two very different examples of aging. One was my paternal grandparents, who were the stereotype of aged people in their 70s and 80s. They were frail, unsteady, slightly stooped, gray hair and wrinkled. My grandmother wore polyester dresses and knee stockings that often fell down around her ankles. Her feet were always encased in white nurse's shoes. The only suit I ever remember my grandfather wearing was also polyester and dull brown. They were middle-class people living in Taunton, Mass., a working-class town. They owned their home, but it was full to the brim with things that recalled the Depression era. Tons of glass bottles and other things they planned to recycle, like furniture and bicycles and tin cans. They also collected toys for their children's children and birds. Glass birds everywhere. There were at least two churches they attended, one a Unitarian church and one a Universalist church, which would merge before I was born, but after their children had moved away. I saw in them no urgency or passion for justice. We never talked about poverty, racism, homophobia, or ableism. They were New Englanders who voted liberal but were contained and private about their finances and their affections. They gave to few causes that spoke to them, but I can't imagine them ever being seen on a picket line, much less a protest march. Now, my maternal grandparents were different. They were upper middle class. My grandfather was the editor of the Kansas City Star, where he wrote to the Kansas and Missouri citizens about racial justice and civil rights. My grandmother was well-educated, always fashionably dressed, always well-informed, and always willing to talk about the issues of the day. Where my father's parents were undemonstrative, my grandmother on my mother's side showed her affection, especially to me. More than once she came to my defense in tactful, but at the same time biting ways. On the day before I got married, I decided I wanted to get my fingernails done, and this is an aside, but my mother went on and on about how she could never get her fingernails done because she worked too hard and there was too much dirt under her fingernails and she would chip them by working. And my grandmother said, like these, and whipped out the most gorgeous long nails. Now, both of my maternal grandparents stood tall and straight. And although they lived much longer than my paternal grandparents, they always seemed strong and healthy. I believe part of my love of purple came from my grandmother's consistent wearing of purple dresses. But she did not, however, ever wear red hats, at least not around me. Unity was her religious tradition, but love and justice were her faith. There's a Grimm fairy tale called Duration of Life that tries to explain the aging depth of humans. It goes like this. After creation, God granted all animals 30 years as their natural lifespan. The ass, all too familiar with its destiny as a beast of burden, asked for a reprieve from so much labor. So God took back 18 years. The dog, fearing old age, asked to have several of his years removed, so God obliged. The monkey also feared old age and pleaded with God for a shorter life. God kindly deducted 10 years. Finally, humans appeared. Men and women felt dissatisfied with 30 years and asked for more. So God gave human beings the 18 surplus years from the ass. Still unhappy, people requested more life, and God offered them the dog's extra years, and finally the monkey's extra 10. Thus, human beings live in health and happiness for the first 30, because that's their natural life. Then men and women live out the ass's 18 years working without stop, beaten and harried every day. The next dozen years are the dog's years, where people sit near the fireplace grumbling and growling. And finally, the monkey years arrive when people do whatever they feel like. The cycles of life are not so easily phased as this story would have us imagine. People are working later and later in life and living longer than 70 years this story allows. Many of us are also living healthier, and the idea of sitting next to a fireplace for 15 or so years, grumbling and growling, seems like a waste. We want to be as active as we can be. We want to travel, to be engaged in community events, to help our family and friends, to keep on learning about and experiencing life. Certainly, our culture emphasizes youth, and advertisers mostly target young people. The older one gets, the more invisible we can feel, and the more patronizingly we can be treated. But if you talk candidly to older people, I think they have an intimation that there's something precious and new about growing old. Now, there's a story I heard when I was in Ormond Beach, Florida, about an elderly lady in Sarasota, Florida. You may have heard this story. The lady was doing her shopping, and upon returning to her car, found 4 males in the act of leaving with her vehicle. She dropped her shopping bag and drew her handgun. This is Florida. Proceeding to scream at the top of her voice, "I have a gun, and I know how to use it. Get out of the car." The 4 men didn't wait for a second invitation. They got out and ran like mad. The lady, somewhat shaken, then proceeded to load her shopping bags into the back of the car and got into the driver's seat. She was so shaken that she could not get her key in the ignition. She tried and tried, and then it dawned on her. Why? For the same reason she did not understand why there was a football, a frisbee, and 2 12-packs of beer in the front seat. A few minutes later, she found her own car parked 4 or 5 spaces further down. She loaded her bags into the car and drove to the police station to report her mistake. The sergeant to whom she told the story couldn't stop laughing. He pointed to the other end of the counter where 4 pale young white men were reporting a carjacking by a mad elderly woman. Described as white, less than 5 feet tall, glasses, curly white hair, and carrying a large handgun. No charges were filed. As someone who has many moments throughout my week when I forget where I put my phone, can't find a word or a name I'm searching for, walk into a room and can't remember why I'm there, drive distracted and miss my turnoff, I know how frustrating, embarrassing, and sometimes scary senior moments are. I've been having them my whole life. Often when this happens, I am told, just wait until you're my age. But the lapse in memory due to age, stress, grief, lack of sleep, trying to multitask, are all lapses in memory. They don't have to be moments where we beat ourselves up. Years ago, I began calling them my junior moments and have learned to just smile and relax. It's not the end of the world. No one was harmed, no life taken. So I'm going to be a few minutes late because I can't find my keys right away. So I'm going to have to ask someone to tell me their name again because my memory isn't what it used to be. What I have learned is that the harder I struggle, the more frantic I feel, the less likely I am to find what I am looking for. Aging gracefully asks for forgiveness and humor. Now, the New York Times once asked Woody Allen about the aging process, and he answered, "Well, I'm against it." I think it has nothing to recommend it. You don't gain any wisdom as the years go by. You fall apart is what happens. People try to put a nice varnish on it and say, well, you mellow. You come to understand life and accept things. But you trade all that for being 35 again. I disagree. I disagree with Woody Allen on many things, but especially about aging. Now, I recognize I'm only 50. I wrote down 57. I'm not 57. I recognize that I'm only 56, but I'm so glad not to be 35 and wouldn't want to go back to those days. When I was 35, I was so insecure about my occupation, my personal life, my spirituality, my looks, everything. That 35th year I can remember so perfectly. 7 people in this community of this congregation died in 5 weeks. I was physically and psychologically unhealthy. Jay was sick with a mysterious illness the doctors could not diagnose, and our nurse practitioner that we were seeing would not refer us until we got an HIV test, because let's face it, Black people with an illness not readily diagnosable must have AIDS. I remember thinking, if only I prayed, but found praying an empty exercise for me. I even tried meditating, something which I've always struggled. I remember that 2 new members asked me if I was on my way out because I was so disengaged. They say aging is not for sissies, and it's certainly filled with challenges, failing eyesight and hearing, body aches and pains, slower reflexes and healing properties. When I get up in the morning, my back aches more than it did when I was 35, sure. And when I work out, I notice the pain in my hip, which tells me I probably will need a hip replacement at some time in the future. I'm not as flexible as I once was and do forget things more readily than I once did. But we know that exercising regularly, eating well, and having a social life helps us age more gracefully. As I have aged, I have learned a number of things from the older members and friends that help promote a sense of independence, dignity, well-being, good health, that enable greater participation in society. All qualities that the Center for Positive Aging identifies as aspirations for approaching and living life's changes and challenges in productive, active, and fulfilling manners as we age and approach the end of our lives. Part of aging well is entering into the world, connecting with others, and investing in hobbies and passions that keep us growing and active. Whether we join the local Lions Club, Rotary, League of Women Voters, Indivisible, or local garden or bird watching club, all have benefits that go beyond creating a more beautiful, more just world. They give life a sense of meaning beyond raising children beyond just working. They help us stay connected to others so we feel less isolated. They provide opportunities for us to share our gifts and help us to feel useful and productive. Studies have shown that people who belong to churches and have a spiritual life are more successful at aging. Spirituality often helps cultivate an increased feeling of purpose in life through activities that promote our values. It is the lens through which many people interpret, understand, evaluate, and respond to their experience in the world, providing us with grounding and insight. Church is a place where we continue to exercise our minds and can keep growing in knowledge of ourselves and the world. Spirituality also helps decrease feelings of helplessness and loss of control many of us experience with aging. Through prayer, meditation, ritual, and mantra, spiritual practice enables us to cope and live with the physical and mental health challenges we are experiencing. As with being involved in civic and social groups, having a deep spiritual life can also reduce stress and feelings of isolation. The community aspects of spiritual life have many positive outcomes, such as friendship, engagement, hope, comfort, continued personal growth, connection with others, and with the world. Church allows us to continue to make new friends as like-minded people continue to come and join in and journey with us. And part of Unitarian Universalism is that faith without works is dead. Part of Unitarian Universalism is being involved in justice as much as we can. Now, I've been at Black Lives Matter and No Kings protests with members in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now, some of you yell and wave signs and blew whistles. Some of you sat in chairs being counted among the crowds. Some stayed all day, some for a half hour. But you came out, interacted, found fun, camaraderie, and purpose in doing so. So, how old is too old to protest? I say it is only when we can no longer find the passion, the drive, or the need to engage in life. I say it's when our faith leaves us and we don't care to honk at the signs with which we once agreed. I say it is when we lay down this life and move on to the next adventure. Then who knows what protesting will look like for us then. In the spirit of protest, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in hymn number 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. No matter your age, no matter what you can do, no matter how much you forget, no matter how much your body aches, you are somebody special, precious, and whole. Please be seated.
Where have all the young girls gone? Long time after. Where have all the young girls gone? Taken husbands, everyone. Where have all the young girls gone? When will we ever love? When will we ever love? Where have all the young men gone? Long time after. Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone? Long time